All right, day 6, session 1 of Olympic wrestling just wrapped up. Normally we haven't been doing between session recaps, but we don't have any new brackets today.
Yeah.
So we figured we'd fill you in on all the action that just happened. Crazy 65 kilogram bracket,
Yeah,
crazy 97 kilogram bracket, and then Kennedy Blade 76 has been awesome too. So Christian, what do you want to start with?
Let's start with Kennedy Blade. She had the move of, I'll say, the Olympics. That 5 was just astounding.
She logoed her.
Logoed. Actually, she beat the logo. The logo, that's what they were going for, and they couldn't quite get all the angle. I mean, upside down, heels back over the head, landed directly on, I mean, just the most textbook 5. You've for sure seen the picture somewhere.
And if you haven't, find it.
Find it. Just it's on our Instagram right now. But then, so she starts with the tech against a world 5th, you know, a very highly accoladed young lady from Romania, and then she beats Cuba, super tight, super close match, and 4-3, and it's good to see Kennedy grind out some tough matches. We know her point scoring potential, but sometimes those tighter ones, and we'll get into semifinal previews for those that are in the semis tonight. Her semifinal against Kyrgyzstan, she's the top seed, but Kennedy has already teched her. It was a dominant 12-1 win. We love the matchup, and I just watched.
That was recent too. It was 2023 ranking series tournament.
Yeah, and just watching not just Kennedy's reaction, but Terry Steiner and Izzy Martinez after she won. That celebration looked a little bit bigger than that. They know this is a good matchup for Kennedy. Nothing guaranteed, certainly not, but you would prefer to have that advantage coming in. And Kennedy, I feel like, is wrestling the best we've seen her wrestle, and I think her best wrestling is still in front of her.
All right, let's go emotionally down a peg, 65 kilos. First round, Zain Rutherford has Amuzad of Iran, 2022 world champion. How did that match go?
It went, you know, there's a reason I said this is the #1 threat to Zain Rutherford, the toughest matchup for Zain Rutherford. And it really kind of bared out that way with Amuzad controlling the hand fight in a way we've never seen Zain Rutherford controlled that way in a hand fight. And not only in the hand fight, but the overall physical strength of Amuzad was shocking there. There were some positions he really horsed Zain around in a way we've never really seen, and that's why I thought Amuzad was a really tough matchup. And he looks, separate of him beating Zain, he looks fantastic right now. Dominant in his second match. He's got Musakaev in a very tough semi, and certainly if he makes the finals, it'll be tough. And we're rooting hard for Amuzad here. We want Zain to get pulled back in because I feel like Zain could go on a run here. I think he can absolutely do it. I think the path is favorable for him. Amuzad was just the last guy you want to draw first, and that's who he drew. And it's like that sometimes. Tough one, but would love to see Zain get pulled back in. So be rooting for Iran in that 65 kilogram semi.
And that match, as an American fan, is just like so frustrating to watch because Zain Rutherford overwhelms everyone with his hand fight.
Yeah.
But with Amuzad, his underhook threat was so strong that Zain couldn't really engage too much because if he did, that underhook was right there. Amuzad wrestles like this, like with his palm facing his opponent, and just wants to jack it up, just constantly wants to be there. So
yeah, tactically, it's like if you're Zain Rutherford, I don't know what adjustments you make.
It's hard.
It's like he couldn't attack more. That would not have worked. Attacking more goes right into Amuzad's counter game, which is so exemplary. He couldn't get to the second level of his hand fight to fire off anything closer from range. Just a tough matchup.
You're used to seeing Zain wear guys down at the latter half of their matches, and it's just he couldn't do that with Amuzad.
Didn't happen.
We should talk a little bit more about that 65 kilogram bracket before we move on.
Yeah, let's do it. So we had Sebastian Rivera. He made the quarters. Had a crazy match against Japan, where he was down and then he came back, and then Japan pulled away a little bit. Sebastian's right there. I mean, he's world silver for a reason.
There was a flurry at the very beginning where he gave up 6 points, and he ended up losing 8-6.
Yeah.
It's like, man, if that flurry didn't go that way, he almost leg passed him.
Yeah.
Which is very folk style. I don't think he meant to quite roll through like that, but it kind of sucked to see him get in that hole right away, and then he almost dug himself out though, man.
He really did. He gave Kyuka a lot of problems in his counters. He was able to counter score a couple times, and then he got his own takedown, and just, man, it feels like he could have won that match. Kyuka, good chance he could pull him through. He's going to have Tolga Tumur-Ochir, who broke Tavanyan in his quarterfinal match. Feels like Tolga versus Kyuka is probably a coin flip type of match. It should be close. So
Man, Sebastian has proven himself to become
Yeah.
a world-class wrestler. Kyuka beat Musakayev recently.
Yeah.
The reigning world champion. He
tough.
beat Otoguro, the reigning Olympic champion, to make the team for Japan. So, man, that was an awesome match. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.
Yeah, and then Austin Gomez falls to Haji Aliyev, who falls to Musakayev, eliminating Gomez. So tough draw, but they pretty much all are at 65.
Yeah, brutal. All right, and then moving on to 97 kilos, we had Azar Pira versus Tazudinov, first round.
Man.
Which two of the best top 3 guys right away.
Yeah, Azar Pira forgot to fill up his tank full before that match. I mean, if you'd have told me someone gasses in that match, I'd be like, maybe Tazudinov.
Yeah.
Azar Pira fell off a cliff. I mean, he had the lead. He was up 3-0 and gave up 2 takedowns and lost the match. Ran out of steam 100%. I don't know if that gives me more confidence or less in Snyder in this rematch, because Snyder, well, I'll just get this, Kyle, because Kyle had China in the first round. We're like, all right, sweet. He gets headlocked for 4, and the first period ends 4-0 in favor of China, but he wore him out, wore him down, ends up getting up like 8-4, 8-5, 9-5 type of final, and back to our regularly scheduled program, and he wins.
I think it was a little nerve-wracking seeing Kyle down in the hole for that long,
Yeah.
but I want to say I'm encouraged by his composure, because he didn't let what happened with Tazudinov last Worlds happen, where, oh no, I'm down, let me chase too hard. He stayed composed, he wore him down, he got the win, and I like seeing that out of Kyle.
100%, totally agree with that. And the restraint he showed in that first period was very noticeable. He just kind of wore on him, chewed on him for that first period. And then the second period, everything came easy. He was getting everything he wanted. And then he had Cuba in the second round. It was a really tight match. I mean, this guy got in a couple times when Snyder couldn't score. It was a 1-point match. And then Snyder ends up in short offense, kind of over-under. And then I don't know if Cuba stepped up or whatever, but he throws him straight to his back and pins him. It was awesome. So he gets the pin to make the semis. Tazudinov rolled against Yurgali, who's really tough, from Kazakhstan. So it's the rematch, Tazudinov versus Kyle Snyder in the Olympic semifinals.
It's what we wanted.
It's what we wanted. It's what Kyle wanted. Kyle said in my interview with him last month that the third match is his best match every tournament. And it's going to have to be, because Tazudinov presents problems in basically every facet of wrestling. But Kyle Snyder's a champion. He's won the Olympics. He's won the Worlds so many times, and we feel like he can do it again here. And ultimately, the winner of this match is going to be the Olympic champion. That's just the reality of this bracket. Tazudinov, Snyder, they're the 2 best in this bracket. Whoever, that other side was a lot softer, and we knew that. So and with Azar Pira on this side as well, it makes it even more certain.
100%. We had a little insight too in your interview. Kyle saw an interview with Taz where Taz said that he watched Kyle's interview about the strategy. If you want to open up about that a little bit, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, so Kyle gets Tazudinov's interview translated, and he's like, I have a surprise for him. I'm going to shoot more. He thinks I won't shoot, but I can. I'm going to take him down with leg attacks. And Snyder lit up as he's telling the story. He's like, good. Like, I want him to shoot more on me. We'll see. These guys are playing, a little bit of verbal chess, mind games, which is great as well. But we'll see what tactics. Right now, Tazudinov has been a little more reluctant and hand fighting a little bit more, but he can do it all, guys. He's legit. He's really good. So that's pretty much it. So semis go down
at 12:15 p.m. Eastern time.
That's right.
Semis. And then medal rounds will start around 1:30 p.m. Eastern time.
All right, so and reminder on those medal rounds, we got Kyle Date going for bronze. Anything else happening?
I don't think so.